Here is a patch of grape hyacinth with sailboat daffodils. Isn't that just adorable? So grape hyacinths are much different than the regular hyacinth. Their scientific name is Muscari armeniacum. I'm not very good at pronouncing these, but I'm trying, and you can always look on my website for how they're spelt, which is linked in the description. So they are of the asparagus family. That's the Asparaceae family, and they're in the same family as the hyacinth. But they were formerly in the family of the hyacinth family and formerly in the lily family. But I think in the 1890s they started doing DNA on plants and they recategorized them. So although these look very similar to the regular hyacinth, they have their own genus of Muscari. And the name Muscari is from the Greek word for musk, referring to the scent. And the name grape is because the flowers look like small clusters of grapes. Actually, they're small clusters of upside-down grapes. Got a little closer so you can see that they're actually little bell shapes that are hanging down. They're upside down. So cute to look at. The name armeniacum is from Armenia, which is the part of the world where these flowers are native. They're native of Armenia. Unlike the true hyacinths, grape hyacinths are much smaller, so you can actually see it because I got two here. There's regular hyacinth and a small grape hyacinth behind it. The leaves are floppy. You see how they just bend over, as opposed to these leaves, which are thick and straight. And each stem has 4 to 8 flower stems, not just one. So if you look over here, there's just one flower coming out in the middle of these thick. And over here, you can see, actually right up here in front, there's another flower coming out of the same spot. So they'll get 4 to 8 flowers. So they bloom successively. And each long leafless flower stalk comes directly from the root, which is called a scape. Each scape has 20 to 40 individual little bell-shaped flowers. So see, we can look a little closer and see those little bitty bell shapes. So each of those little bitty bell shapes is called a floret. 20 to 40 little bitty bells. That's a lot on each little bitty thing. Isn't that kind of amazing? Now my garden is a little muddy. I'm trying to get closer. But you see, these here are just beginning to bloom. And the bottom ones are purple. And so these bloom from the bottom to the top. So this one is almost in full bloom. You can see at the top it's got some still to open up, and these in the back are totally in full bloom. So you can see where they start out at the bottom and go to the top. So the regular hyacinth, the foliage dies back and goes back into the bulb, just like all bulbs, but these are a little different. After they bloom, the green does die back, just like all spring bulbs. However, in the autumn, it begins to grow back. The first time this happened to me, I was totally confused. I thought the flowers were confused because the weather got warm or something like that, but that's not the case. That's just what they do. The leaves die totally back, and then in the autumn they come back. They also self-seed and naturalize in their own area. Now, some people will say that because of that, these spread a lot and are sort of invasive, but I have not had that. It's very slow spreading, and in fact, in some cases, I've had, I guess because they're too closely planted to each other, that they'll die out in parts. For instance, I do believe when it started that all of these were in front of those daffodils. And you can see that they've kind of taken on a mind of their own because they're not on this side at all anymore, and they've kind of moved themselves over here. Again, great for pets because they are not poisonous to animals and they're generally non-toxic, and the squirrels prefer not to eat them. So they are a good investment for my yard. Now, I was sitting on the ground, and even standing up, they look great. I used to have a lot of sailboats and grape hyacinths here, but the grape hyacinths have all disappeared. I don't know why. Now, I'm going to insert some photos in the video here of this area. We just changed it this year, but it's in the shade right now, so it's just getting going. But these are the sailboat ones, and we used to have the grape hyacinth in front of them, but just this spring we moved them over here, and you see how resilient they are. They, I think, are going to be great in a patch next to the daffodils because we get a lot of water coming under that fence there, and being as the grass comes back and is there all winter, it's going to make a great kind of like a more difficult for the water to wash through. It's going to be perfect. I love that we were able to transplant all these, and they are doing just great. They're so tiny and beautiful. And once again, you can see how the bottoms are all bloomed out, and the top is still getting ready to bloom out on this one. But on these over here, the whole thing is budded out. They make great little arrangements. I need to take some inside.